Hello there, and welcome back to Vintage Story. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I've been working a bit on the greenhouse, the windmill behind me here. Not a lot done, but I got the general shape down. Unfortunately, because I was digging underneath and all the snow collapsed, you can't quite see the outline as well right now as you would have earlier, but I can show you what I've done. First off, just a very simple cobblestone framing around the bottom, just to neaten it up a little bit. And then inside, we've got alternating shale and claystone polished blocks for a checkerboard pattern. I think that'll look fine. I did start to bring over all of our stuff here for actually building the windmill. And downstairs, I haven't finished it. I ran out of. Excuse me. Haven't lit it up down here, so we got nasties every now and then. Ran out of cobblestone, so I just finished up with packed dirt. And this will all be... Not sure if I want to do polished stone down here or what, but this will all be uniformed eventually down here too. But the reason we have this down here is, of course, so when we run our axles and whatnot, the axle is going to actually be... This primary axle is going to be underground, and that will split off to feed the... 3 or 4 Helve hammers, Helve hammers that'll work over here, and our what's it called? Pulverizer that'll be like over here, and then we will have the grindstone over here. This will take a little bit of work because we can't power the grindstone from the bottom, only the top. So we're probably gonna have to split off from the windmill up top to come over here, but we'll figure that out as we go. We have the basic framework here. What I think I'm going to do is, so we'll have a roof on this part, and it will slant in, and then this will slope in, and then the center part, which probably will be more of like here, the main body of the center part will come up to where the windmill blades actually come in and out to feed one large gear that'll be up here, that'll run downstairs to the other large gear, because we're going to have 4 windmills on this, 1 blade in each of the cardinal directions. And from there, I'll be sloping the roof up. Hopefully I'll be able to show you what I mean better, because, you know, whoops, there we go. Oh, that was smooth. That was completely by accident. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to show you exactly what I'm planning. It'll actually work out. I do have a temporary hole in the wall here, so I can access the base a little easier. And our beehive kiln should be done. I was firing up a bunch of new black ceramic shingles that we're going to use for the actual building. So now that I've at least introduced you to what we're doing so far, I'm going to cut away, get back to work, and then hopefully bring it back in when we have some nice progress. Oh, quick note, the shingles are going to be done more like these, where it's slabs that then get chiseled down, as opposed to shingles more like those, which are the pre-shaped ones. This way I can sort of control the angle better to fit the shape I want to go with. And so here's what the top of the windmill is going to look like. We've got 4 axles coming off of the large wooden gear. And we've got 1 windmill rotor on it for now. It's not producing that much power, although the wind is picking up. And yeah, they all will feed into this. So this will get power from all 4 of these, meaning that even if the wind is low, right now 20% or so, this will be moving as if the wind was blowing at 80%. Which is, I think, gale, or thereabouts. Now, the roof needs a lot of fine-tuning. I'm just placing down slabs for now. It's going to get a lot more shaping done, but at least now I have a platform I can walk on, because what I would like to do is almost make this inner portion here a bit more rounded in. And obviously the rammed dirt will be gone, and this will This will probably be 1.5 blocks tall so that it can slope into the planks. I'll see what I can come up with. All the fine tuning is going to take a while. I'm just trying to get the basics in place. But that's the big gear up there, comes down to here, which leads to a large gear underground. And from here, we can run to, like, I'm placing them wrong. Split them off this way. Throw a gear onto there if I can get the angle. Right? And then have this break off. Not sure how I'm going to do that. But have that all break off and go to 3 Helve hammers. That'll be above ground, right? So that's the idea. That's going to take a bit of work too. Of course, we can come off this way also, so that we can go power our pulverizer. And yeah, try to keep all the mechanical work underground, out of sight, and then just have the very basics above ground where it plugs into the different components. So let's grab the pulverizer. We're going to put the pulverizer like right there. So we're going to have, you know, we might move it over actually. Because what I'm thinking is if the pulverizer is, the center axle is here. It's going to come up to our pulverizer. Which we put it there means the axle can come up and then directly in. Put the toggle in and the hammers and that. And then we can do what we did before, have a chute leading into the front and a hopper behind. And then we can put some blocks here or chisel some blocks here. Actually, I could probably use glass because then it'll be invisible for the most part. And this will pulverize and deposit into a chute. And that chute or hopper can be connected to a chest. So we can fully automate the process without having to, well, worry about it. And then just collecting the resource will be as easy as just going downstairs and going over to the chest and taking it. And of course, we're going to connect this here. And that way we don't have to worry about coming out here and being attacked by any mobs at night. Except in here it's going to require a lot of lighting because right now there is none. But again, that's easily solved once we have everything up and running. So once we have the Helve hammer set up, we'll have automated plate production, and we really won't have to worry about it. Well, at least won't have to worry about plates being time-consuming to produce. Oh, and I did make up a whole bunch of black dye. This is so we can use the wood staining mod and stain some of these oak planks so that we can sort of create a shadowing effect on them, since I just put them all away. The shingles will come down over the front here, and I'm going to have them, I'm going to try to make them look nice. But if we can then stain some of these planks, and you have to stain before you chisel. If you chisel, then you can't apply a stain to it. But if we stain it, we could then apply a regular block to it and have like that section there, or like that sort of shape, all be stained and the rest not be. And that will allow us to create a shadow effect on the block using the stains instead of, you know, necessarily something else. We could also use the palettes. I probably will, depending on the effect and how it looks. All right, next update. This is the rough shape of how everything is going to be laid out, at least for the Helve hammers. I only have 2 at the moment. I've got to craft up a 3rd, but you get the idea. When these are all powered, they will all be hitting simultaneously, so it'll be like having, well, obviously 3 working at once instead of just 1. And the faster the windmill's going, the faster the Helve hammer will hit, the faster the item will be worked. So I've got now 3 more rotors, so we can place these up here. And then I've got everything here to make up 15 more sails. You know what? I did that wrong. Oh, I did that really wrong. Oh, we'll come back to that. But here I have at least enough sails to get each of these going once. Ah, okay. The ladder is blocking this one, so we'll have to add to that one last. Are those going to interfere with each other? No, they don't appear to interfere with each other. That's good. But now, this one is producing 22% of 100 kilowatts and kilonewtons, sorry, and this is producing 25%. So, I mean, they'll be producing the same percentage, but... So, if this is 100 at 25%, that's obviously just 100 kilonewtons. If this is 60 at 25%, then that's another 15 kilowatts. So, together, we're producing 40 kilonewtons, not watts, kilonewtons instead of what would have only been 25. And that's additive. So yeah, for every one we have going, the more they'll add to it. Let's see what it looks like from up here, knowing full well that's nowhere close to done. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of chiseling and detail work, but it's definitely coming along. And then we're going to need to make some angled gears here for going up to whatever we're working on. So here underneath the pulverizer. So we're going to need, well, I'm going to make 4. We're probably going to need more than that. But for now, we can do that. And then I'm also going to need more axles. Log, chisel, hammer, and that. And we put one of those, well, put that there. We continue this here and there. Put that there. Head up. And put that there. So now we have the pulverizer on, but we're not going to want that on all the time. Obviously, it's not going to be very efficient to have it running when we don't need it. So what we should be able to do, chop that, put a transmission there, and then if we make a toggle, not a toggle, a clutch, which is a little on the expensive side. I'm getting low on resin. I'm going to have to go resin hunting in a minute. But we can grab a bit more logs. That, hammer, twigs, that, logs, that, there we go. One clutch. And then, I've never tried mounting these from the roof, but yes, so that works. So now we can turn on or off the clutch, and when the clutch is on, then the power goes through, and the pulverizer works. And when we turn it off, it turns off this gear from the transmission, and that turns off. And I'm starving to death. But this way we can actually control what is getting power, since, as I said, when we're down here, we're not going to need everything getting powered all at the same time. We're not going to need the pulverizer always being on. We're not going to need the Helve hammers always being on. So if we can throw the clutch to turn off and on the different components, we can preserve energy for whichever we actually need at the time. Since if we have all these Helve hammers going at once, and the pulverizer, part of the energy is going to be going over here, and part of it's going to be going over here, which will slow down both of them. Okay, let's get food before that gets annoying. Okay, so we cannot make a 4-way intersection off of angled gears like this. Which means in order to provide power to the Helve hammers up top, what we're probably going to need to do is make another large gear and have that underneath the anvil, or offset a little bit, so that the gears can come up and provide power to each of the wooden toggles for the Helve hammers. So, I mean, that's not too bad. It's just we need to make another large gear, and the large gear is... well, you need to make 4 of these large sections, which take a little bit of resin. We don't have enough to make all of it. And a bit of wood. And then combine them again. It's not that bad. But yeah, I'm going to need to go collect more resin in order to do that. But then that goes like right here. And then we can branch off like what we did here for each of the Helve hammers. And then we'll just put a clutch and toggle over here. Sorry, clutch and transmission over here. So we can again turn off everything over on this side when we don't need it on. So now we got 14 of the 27 sails set up. So if I turn this on, the pulverizer is going pretty fast. It is galing out there, so it is, well, if we go up top, we can see just how fast the windmill blades are going. But yeah, so they're going pretty fast. And if we had this fully set up, this would be going pretty fast too. I need to figure out how I'm doing this. Because I've got this one gear linked to this one, and I've got the transmission and the clutch over here so I can turn it on and off. But I need to set up the gears so that I come down either here or there so we can connect to that. But then if I'm here, it doesn't line up with that. So if I move this back one, that might work, but then it still wouldn't really work for this back one, so I might have to... I've got to figure out how I'm doing this, because I didn't quite... It's not quite set up the easiest way to do it. I guess one of the other solutions is just have one output and just have these connected. I'm not sure how I would do that either. Because if I put an angled gear like this, right, I can put a axle like that, but then I can't connect that one. If I had it from behind, no, that still won't really work either. I guess the easiest way would be to have this one connect like that. Going up front shouldn't cause an issue. And we can have them both. That doesn't work either. That was... Oh. Okay. So if you have power go in from one side, it can come out the other side. That's kind of... should be kind of obvious. I can't believe I missed that. Which means if we replace that, it does mean changing up the setup a little bit. What I'm thinking is we can pull off of that and then go here, but we can't do it at that angle. Oh. Like that. Duh. Okay. So if we do that, and then we can do that over here also. We don't need to pull that out. Have that, have them connect there. Then all 3 of these would be connected via the same one axle chain. And then here, we actually wouldn't need this big gear. So what we could do is we just split off from here, going like that. And then we can go up to an angle gear there, to an angle gear there. We still got the clutch to turn it off and on, but now we've powered all of our all the Helve hammers from one. Right, good. So that solves that problem. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do about the building now, because this doesn't quite fit. I can move everything forward, one more block closer to the center. But then I'd have... Well, then I'd just move the clutch from being right here to being right there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move everything up one block, close to the center. And we're going to use this sort of system to provide power to all of our Helve hammers. I think that'll be the cleanest way of doing this. I always place it down wrong. Does mean getting back there to do anything is a little more of a hassle, but it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to want the transmission there, but not that way. We're going to want an axle here, but going... No. Can we just do 2 gears? Yes. Okay, we do 2 gears that way. An axle there. Then we need another set of gears, another set of gears. And... angle gear. And then another set of angle gear up here. So we need to do 3 angle gears. And I don't think I have enough resin left to do that. Yes, I'm going to need to go out and collect more resin. But then we'll have the Helve hammer set up. Okay. Let me go... Well, it's getting daytime, so I can go out now and do that and not have to worry about too much. Let's put the clutch back. Yeah. And 3 angled gears, and this should be the last that we need to get this up and running. That one, that one, and that. And we turn on the clutch. Now we've got 2 Helve hammers hitting simultaneously. So then we can make our 3rd Helve hammer, have that on here, and unfortunately we don't have room for a 4th with this setup. But having 3 is fine, and then we can have a forge right here so we can heat up stuff and then put it directly onto the anvil. This will be replaced with an iron anvil. Since there's no point in using another bronze one, I'll just melt that one down. Use that to make the sheets I'm going to need for all the lanterns? Almost said lamperns in here. For all the lanterns I'm going to need in here. And yeah, we'll just make another iron anvil. Since there's no point in making a steel one. Oh wait, is there? There might be now. Let me double check. The sturdy leather. Sturdy leather to make the upgraded backpack, which has 8 slots as opposed to 6. That requires chromium tanned hide, which of course takes chromium sulfate. You make chromium sulfate by crushing chromite, which is chrome. And that needs a pulverizer tier 4, which is steel. But, do we need... Okay, I don't think we need a steel anvil. I think we'll be fine with an iron one. We'll need steel pulverizer caps eventually for our pulverizer. If we want to make the sturdy leather, which I do want to do eventually. I almost completely forgot about it. More inventory space. Be nice. But there we go. That's... Here, we're at a breeze right now. And this is still going pretty fast. So that's the advantage of having multiple Helve hammers. And multiple windmill sails. This, of course, will be cleaned up. It'll go up. And then I'll do... Not quite a point. But a round cap on top, I think. And now the only real question I have left is what in the world am I going to do with the Quarn? We put it here. Is there a way to do multiple angle gears off of one axle? I don't think there is. Okay, wait. Let me test something. I'm going to take this angle gear. Can I put that... If I had an extra axle. Right, like that. Can I put that there? No. Okay. So you can't split off, it doesn't look like, multiple gears from that. Yeah, we can't place one there either. So it doesn't look like there's any way to splitter off this in multiple directions. So then, if I wanted to do a top-down gear over here to feed the Quarn, the best option would probably be to replace this one here, that axle, with this large gear. That should be working. And then come off of that to go over here and then come down to feed the Quarn. Now, why isn't that spinning? Oh, I figured out what the issue was. We just had to break that one down there, place that one, and then that one, and now they're all working. So I need to just make up a transmission. Let's see, that's planks, fat, and resin. Need to make the planks first. So that transmission goes right there. I'm going to need to make another angle gear. And then a clutch. You'd think after crafting it 3 times I'd remember what I need for it, but apparently not. And I also did not apparently get enough resin. Okay, well, I can make this last angle gear. I've pretty much exhausted my resin supply out in the forest. I've been running around finding all the resin trees that I can and harvesting them as I go. But yep, we're out of resin again. Okay, well, that's that. How am I going to place this one? Just like that. Okay. So that gives power to that. And if we just steal one of our clutches from down below for the moment being, like that one, we can toss this right there. And now we have the Quarn automated. So there we go. We've got, well, minus one clutch. We've got everything in here automated. And that's half the battle. The other half of the battle is finishing the build. I'm going to give these hoppers I'm going to put on this block a chiseled piece of glass. Same here, and here, there, and there, right? So whatever falls out can only fall into the hopper, and we'll have glass, chiseled glass, blocking it from falling anywhere else. The glass is going to be practically invisible, so you won't be able to see it. Likewise, back here, going to have a bit of glass there and there, chiseled, so they're invisible. Anything that comes off of here will fall into the hopper and not anywhere else. I then have to make another set of nails and strips, so I can make one chest for back here. Granted, I could use wicker baskets, but chest is better, larger inventory. And then I can either make one chest, put it here, and have 3 more elbow chutes lead into it, off of the hoppers, or do one chest per hopper. I'll probably do the elbow chutes, but that is quite a bit of copper. But thankfully, we can now automate making plates. Oh boy, my armor's really got beaten up. A bear mistook me for another bear and chased me. And that is why my armor is now trashed. I made it, though. But as you see in the upper corner, we do have a temporal storm coming yet again. I swear, I've got temporal storms on half probability. Like, they take twice as long to happen, and yet they always seem to happen when I'm detailing. So, we'll finish this build next time. It's only the detail work left and a little bit of structure. It'll be fine. But until then, thank you for joining me today. Hope you've had a wonderful day. Hope you learned how to automate some stuff for your windmill, because I certainly had to figure it out as I went along. Thank you to my channel members for your support, and I'll see you all later. Bye!